Coach, let's talk about week one.
Right.
Ponte Vedra, big rivalry game. They are a big physical team.
Right.
They've got multiple offensive linemen committed to D1 schools. You lost your quarterback, your running back, your star receiver. How do you prepare for a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, we lost a lot. I mean, obviously that was kind of the unknown coming in. What were we going to be like on offense? What was our identity going to be? How are we going to replace Nate Harry, Maddox Spencer, a couple O-linemen, KJ Perry at running back? So we challenge our guys throughout the offseason, all the way, going back to January. When guys graduate, who's going to step up and fill their role? And our guys did exactly that. I mean, pleased with what we got offensively. And then we've really returned a lot on defense as well, so felt good about the linebackers, right? Yeah, for sure.
I knew about Noah and Jacob from last year. Crew, like, all over the field week one, everywhere, in the backfield, in coverage. The guy just was shining.
Yeah, Crew's the man. Number 10 flying all over the field. You got Jacob Curry back, Super 11 player, right? He's one of the best players in all of Jacksonville. Noah Hodge and Cal Hurtado. So we feel like with those four linebackers, right, being healthy, we've got a shot.
So at the NFL level, you always see the premier pass rusher getting paid and the lockdown corner getting paid.
Right.
Not saying you don't have those, but your linebackers are your studs. How do you change your strategy when the strength is in the middle of your defense?
Yeah, well, Coach Garth and our defensive staff do a phenomenal job. I mean, even though those guys, we run a 3-4 scheme and they're standing up the whole time, any one of those guys is probably going to be blitzing in any given play. Normally, Crew, number 10, I mean, he really is our stand-up rush end. So he's getting after the quarterback. And even last game, Jacob Curry, I think, blitzed probably 85% of the time he was on the field. So we like to send them early and often.
So you guys, it was a great play call for that game, having a sophomore coming out and start his first varsity game. A lot of short passes, a lot of screens. What I did not expect is dominating the line of scrimmage, where Ponte Vedra's really strong offensively, what we just talked about, but defensively, Christian Parnell, Reese Beck, I mean, these guys are good. And here come your guys. Enrico Ordonez out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he had like a 51-yard run and like 140 total yards, and I think he was recognized by Dream Kings for one of the players of the week.
Players of the week,
Did you know that? Were you expecting that?
I mean, I know he had the potential, man. I tell you what, he really blew it out of the park week one, though. And I felt like that the best thing we did offensively that game was stay about 50-50 balance. We had over 500 yards of offense, and I think we were right at 250, 240 passing, and 270 rushing. Enrique having 190 of those.
So week one's great. You convincingly beat your rival. You go into week two. What helps? PV convincingly beats Bartram Trail.
Absolutely.
And then you really handle Creekside. Creekside has I forget his name, the stud defensive lineman committed to Oklahoma. How do you prepare?
Oh, yeah, 95.
How do you scheme with your offensive line to protect a sophomore with a pass rusher like that on the field?
We challenge the guys, just like, you asked me how we got those guys prepared to make those plays against Ponte Vedra. We talked about 95 going in, every day last week we talked about how are we going to block him? Are we going to double team him? Are we going to cut him? Or are we going to try to get him to jump off sides? So we felt like we had a great game plan going in. The kids, our offensive linemen, knew the game plan, and man, they executed that to a T. I mean, to be honest with you, he might have had one tackle, but they did a great job of neutralizing him and us being able to move the ball down the field.
Coach Pfeiffer was super complimentary of him. He said that kid gave all the effort every play. So
absolutely.
Kudos to him.
No, he's a good player and he played hard, no doubt.
We got a different opponent this week.
Right.
I'm not super familiar. I do know from growing up here that Godby, Leon, Lincoln produce a lot of football talent.
Good football out there.
And they beat Niceville week one, who eliminated Ponte Vedra from the playoffs in a really tight game. And then they go and beat Madison County, who's always been competitive in North Florida with football.
No doubt.
How do you prepare for an opponent that you don't have a lot of mutual opponents with?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, we've never played Lincoln, all the years that I've been here. So, we got all the film we could get on them. Obviously, we've been diving into that, really all year long, trying to get a jump on them. And like you said, man, it's going to be a great challenge for us. They've already beat Niceville and they've beat Madison County, really two perennial powers. So it's going to be a huge challenge and a huge test for our team as far as trying to gather that information. I'm definitely on the phone, man. I'm calling Niceville. I'm talking to guys guys at Madison County and getting their opinion on what do they do well, maybe what are their weak spots and how we can take advantage of that. So I think it's a great matchup. We've got them at home, and I think it's an early season challenge that our team's really looking forward to. There's no doubt.
Taylor Jacobs has been really effective through the air with 4 touchdowns,
right,
and Malik Denmark over 100 yards a game.
Right.
I'm not super familiar with your secondary. How do you prepare for a dynamic receiver like that is going to get the ball?
Yeah, I mean, that's really where they excel the most. Number one, their quarterback is a dude, man. He is top notch. I think he's probably rated a 3-star prospect right now, but he's going to be the best player, in my opinion, that we played all year long. They go as he goes. If he's not throwing it, he's running it, and our defense is going to have to know where he's at all times, try to keep him in the pocket, keep him contained, and hopefully keep him off the field. But got a lot of size, have a lot of speed on the perimeter. We're going to try to keep everything in front and make him earn it.
One thing I really admire about you and what you've done for this program is you go out and you get the best teams you can find to prepare your team for deep playoff runs.
Right.
What have you done to prepare for potentially a road playoff game where you've got to load them up, stay the night, feed them on the road,
yeah, for sure,
do a walkthrough on the road? What are you doing to prepare for something like that?
We really don't have any games outside of Jacksonville this year. It's something that I've thought about. What I want to get to in years moving forward is try to pick up one of those big time, maybe even out of state games. Let's go to Georgia, let's go to Alabama, let's go to Texas maybe. Haven't been able to get that on the schedule yet. I think we can make that happen next year. But look, man, it is what it is. You never know, are you going to be on the road in the playoffs? Are going to be at home? We really try to do our best job here of just keeping it, we call it keeping the horse blinders on, right? I mean, we want to keep our guys narrowed and focused on their vision week to week, Monday through Friday. What do we need to do to win this game and this game only? And we feel like if you do that, if you can keep, 15, 16, 17-year-old boys focused and motivated and go week to week, you can get those wins stacking up, and then you're in the playoffs, hopefully having a home game, throughout, like we had last year.
I mean, if you could write your own schedule, what teams out of Jacksonville would you want to play?
Well, me and you talked about it, man. I want to see a Nice-Reigns matchup, right? I'd love to make that happen. Obviously, that wouldn't happen in the playoffs because we are in a different classification. But I'm going to give Coach a call in the offseason. I think that'd be a phenomenal matchup, even if it's spring game or kickoff classic, whatever. But I'd love to play them. I mean, I think right now, there's a lot of debate on who the top team is in Jacksonville, but you kind of got to give them, in my opinion, give them the nod right now with that state championship appearance from last year. So we'd love to play them. We already play, St. Augustine, right? They're always top 5. We played, Trinity Christian, perennial top 5 team. So really, other than that, maybe a Bowls Nice matchup one day. There's a lot of good football teams here, and I think the one that is looming at some point is you're going to, in the next 3 years, I think you're going to see a big time Nice Mandarin matchup at some point. Probably playoffs, because we're both 6A.
Okay.
And, so we could run into one.
Because Oakleaf beat Mandarin. Otherwise, you would have had Mandarin last year.
We were either going to play Mandarin or Oakleaf in the second round last year. Oakleaf got the best of them, and then they kicked our butt.
Boy, after seeing Oakleaf, we need some more team dinners out here and more in the weight room.
No doubt.
Those Oakleaf guys,
big boy. But Coach Floyd does a great job with those guys.
They were really physical that game.
No doubt. Yep.
What I really like about your program is every week you guys recognize obviously excellent performance from an offensive player and excellent performance from a defensive player.
Right.
Get into some of those other recognitions that you guys do.
Yeah, for sure. So the first one's called the Hammer of the Week, right? So we had a tradition in 2021. It was only supposed to be for one game, but just to paint the picture for you, going into 2021, that was my 3rd year, right? And those first 2 years were tough. They were building years. We went 1-9 in 2019 and 1-7 in 2020 in the COVID year. And going into 2021, we felt like we had a great team coming back and we were going to finally make some noise. But we also felt like a lot of teams didn't respect us yet either. So we went into that first Ponte Vedra game, having lost that game, I think 11 years in a row at the time. So we had a cinder block with a Ponte Vedra logo painted on it, and we finally won that game and got the monkey off our back. We smashed the cinder block after the game. to celebrate. So what we did throughout the remainder of that year is every time we won a game, we would award a player, hey, you're the hammer of the week, and that guy got to take the sledgehammer and break the brick.
So what type of week does a player have to be recognized?
You've got it, yeah, exactly, right. So who's the hammer of the week? It's not just the MVP. What we're really looking for is who's the best teammate, who had a great week of practice, right? Who was a selfless player, right? And not only played for themselves, but played for the man beside them. So who really embodies and exemplifies what we look for in all of our players. We talk about effort, attitude, toughness, compete. Whoever the hammer of the week is that dude for the week.
It's like a glue guy.
Absolutely. He's the man.
What other recognitions are there?
Yeah, so we have special forces, right? So that's our special teams player of the week, right? We had Ty Ford last week, who's a newcomer. He actually moved in from Arizona. He was the guy who had the kick return, the touchdown, right? So special forces player of the week. And then we also have the hog of the week, right? So offensive lineman. I talk to our guys every year. The most important position in football, hands down, is offensive line. I don't care what anybody says. It's not the quarterback. It's not the linebacker. If you don't have a good O-line, like, I don't think you're good luck doing anything, right? So we felt like giving a hog of the week every week, and really, just highlighting those guys who played the best in the front five, that they deserve that recognition.
Obviously, the Nice-St. Aug rivalry goes back to the 80s when they were the only two schools in the county.
Way back, yeah.
For a long time, St. Augustine was just spanking Nice every year.
Yep.
Last year's game, great. You guys are down. Nate Harry, dog.
Phenomenal.
Brings back at the end of the game for a win on the road. They're coming here. How do you keep the team focused to not look ahead to that game?
I mean, it is hard, right? Because you've got, you've got the big time matchup we talked about with Lincoln this Friday. Then you're probably going to play an undefeated Fletcher team next week, hopefully both 3-0. And then you have St. Aug. So I think that's pretty much, I just answered the question right there. Like, we have too many quality opponents before we even get to them to look far ahead. But you got to admit, man, having them at home, the way that game went down last year, down 21-0 at halftime, coming back, battling back, forcing overtime, and then stuffing them on a 2-point conversion to win the game, couldn't have been in more dramatic fashion. So I know this much, that Coach Braddock is going to have those guys ready to roll. They hate losing. They hate losing to Nice. I get it. It's an old school rivalry. We love it. He's a buddy of mine. You're going to have two quality teams going toe-to-toe.
He's got receivers too.
In a couple of weeks. Yeah, they got dudes over there.
How many times are you going to watch the Bulls St. Aug tape?
Probably about 100 times. Yeah, no doubt.
That's a good measuring stick.
Yeah, I'm diving into that one. Yeah, that'll be a great matchup, right? You've got two premier teams, two marquee. Is it at Bowles or is it at St. Aug? I
believe it's at Bowles.
Gotcha.
There are so many good games this week. I mean, you got the one here.
Yep.
I like the PV Baker County game.
Yeah.
Oakley, Fleming Island.
Okay, that'll be a good Clay County matchup.
And for likely the best team in Clay County.
For sure. And Fleming's off to a good start
this year. And then Bulls St. Aug game. I mean, it's just a good week.
Yeah, we're like the only team kind of playing an out of the area team tomorrow night. I mean, with Lincoln being from Tallahassee. But yeah, man, good ball on this weekend.
All right. Well, thanks for doing this. We'll see you next week.
Man. Absolutely, dude. Loved it.